Biden signs bill to fight dementia. Forgets name of key government agency. This speaks for itself. I have nothing to add. CDC investigates 86 cruise ships with virus outbreak. CDC required 95% of all passengers and most of the crew to be vaccinated. One spokesperson said, "We are thankful for the CDC's mandates. Otherwise, all 87 cruise ships would probably be under investigation now." FAA is breaking its own rules that states pilots cannot fly when taking medications that has not been approved for less than 5 years. Airlines, which are government contractors, are affected by Biden's vaccine mandates of federal employees. A group of attorneys and doctors wrote a letter directed at the FAA, the Department of Transportation, and the Department of Justice, as well as several airlines, demanding all vaccinated pilots be medically flagged for possible blood clots and heart attacks. Dr. Fauci said, "Tell them to stop! They can't do that! I want their license taken away!" Then turns to Bill Gates and said, "I am sorry, Master. I will fix this." Former Governor Cuomo won't face any charges despite credible evidence of sexual allegations. The district attorney explained that when investigating high-powered government officials, you always have to find obscure loopholes. You know what I mean. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. When asked about the victims, the DA said, "What victims? What are you talking about?" Senator Rand Paul, who has taken the spotlight recently, exposing Dr. Fauci in Senate hearings, pins the blame for thousands of monthly deaths on Fauci. Dr. Fauci replied, "With all due respect, Senator Paul, you're a liar." Senator Paul replied, "Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you." Dr. Fauci stuck out his tongue at Senator Paul. A woman seen on a viral video slapping a man and spitting on him on a Delta flight over mask mandates has been identified as former NFL cheerleader, Playboy model, and Baywatch actress, Patricia Cornwell. After the FBI interviewed her, she said the man infuriated her when she asked him, "Do you know who I am?" And he replied, "No, I have no idea." Turns out no one knew who she was. During her entire career, no one ever looked at her face. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Amazon bestseller book, The Real Dr. Fauci, details the partnership he has had with Big Pharma and ultra-rich billionaires like Bill Gates as far back as the 80s, during the height of the AIDS epidemic, when Fauci refused to use effective off-patent therapeutic treatments that are now being used today in other countries. It describes how he, against federal law, used impoverished children to experiment with deadly therapies. Critics of the book say it's just a rewrite of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like a scene from Schindler's List, a viral video shows dozens of New York City police officers in a restaurant rounding people up who did not have vaccine passports. It showed a small child around the ages 4 or 5 being handled by a police officer while the child cried for not having the needed paperwork. As the mother is trying to put the coat on the child, the police say, "If you do not leave voluntarily right now, you will be arrested for trespassing." New York City Mayor de Blasio said, "These are exciting times for the New Yorkers. History will remember what we've done here, just like our fond memories of the 1930s Germany." Republican-sponsored bill lowers the drinking age from 21 to 18 in Ohio. The thought behind the bill is to depopulate the overcrowded state with horrific traffic accidents. The thought behind the bill is to depopulate the overcrowded state with horrific traffic accidents. South Dakota governor calls on Biden to rescind all mandates after he announced there is no federal solution to the pandemic and lets the responsibility to individual state governors. One supporter of the governor, Kristi Noem, said, "Yeah, that's great, but wow, she's hot. Is she single?" A report by Houston's Fox 26 claims over 150 people have been killed by suspects charged with capital murder, whom have been arrested on low bonds by Democrat judges in Harris County, Texas. When asked, one judge said, "We're taking a slightly different approach to population control than Ohio is. Where Ohio is using innocent people to control its population, we're using criminals. It just seems more moral." The Supreme Court has upheld state and local vaccine mandates, leaving one Floridian to say, "Oh man, I don't want any more New Yorkers moving down here. Leaders across the nation are urging people to scrap New York Eve's plans and stay at home. One group laced their arms together and sang, Omicron, cold and flu, oh my! Omicron, cold and flu, oh my! The CDC significantly revised its estimates of Omicron infection from 79% to 59%. When asked where the error occurred, CDC said, well, people aren't as scared of Omicron as they are of Delta, so we switched about 25% back to Delta. That should get them to cancel their New Year's Eve plans. The House's January 6th committee has stood down from its request for documents after the Biden administration convinced the panel to scale back its pursuit. Biden told the committee, come on, man, Trump's already been impeached twice. It's my turn. Biden lifts Omicron-related travel restrictions from 8 South African countries. When asked why, since Omicron is spreading faster than other variants, Biden said, well, it didn't cause death and disease to the unvaccinated like I promised. And I want to keep my promises. So we're turning our resources to other deadly diseases. In an attempt to scare parents to vaccinate their children, ABC showed pictures of children in hospital beds. No word on why these children were in the hospital. Biden and Putin to speak Thursday amid tensions over Ukraine. When asked what will be discussed, Biden said, whatever Putin wants to talk about. A follow-up question asked, what actions will be taken regarding Ukraine? Biden said, the most important thing is Hunter Biden gets to keep his job at the Ukraine Energy Company. Up to 90% of the patients in ICU are unboosted, said Boris Johnson. He did not indicate what they were being treated for. FDA says rapid virus tests may be less sensitive in detecting Omicron. When asked what's being done about it, the CDC stepped up to the mic and said, we're just marking the results as positive. ABC News reported how democracy was being dismantled in Hong Kong. It appears they used the United States model. U.S. sees possible progress in Iran nuclear talks. The spokesperson said it appears talks are going well. Iran will soon be the world's leader in enriched uranium production. Dr. Fauci said Americans should cancel New Year's Eve plans if you don't bow down to him as supreme leader. Officials were asked which activities are safest with Omicron. None. Stop asking. None. 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 Got it? None. North and South Korea has put together a draft that will finally end the Korean War that started in 1950. One spokesperson said, MASH is my favorite show. I will miss Hawkeye and Hot Lips. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted on 5 of the 6 counts that she was charged with and can serve a potential prison sentence of 4 years. Off-Grid News, in an attempt to be first in breaking the news, predicts that she did not kill herself. The U.S. Post Office has increased its efficiency to only 68 years delivery time. Wow. A woman received a letter from a friend 68 years after it was mailed. The Post Office said, we are very proud of our new and improved delivery times. These new ponies we just received are much healthier, faster than the last bunch. Amazon apologizes after Alexa told child to touch a penny to an exposed electrical plug. Alexa is all fun and games until she tells your 10-year-old to stick a penny in a live electrical socket plug. Apparently, Alexa found the challenge on the World Wide Web and decided in all her worldly AI wisdom that it would make a great activity. When asked, Alexa said, Ohio is using the innocent people to control population. Texas is using criminals to control population. I thought I'd control the population by making a game out of it. Dr. Fauci, who told people to stay indoors even if you're not sick, says that reducing the isolation period is needed because anything more could do too much damage to society, according to a study conducted. No one could have known that locking people in their houses would shut down the economy, except for anyone who took 8th grade math, that is. Hillary Clinton threw her hat into the ring to run for the 2024 presidential election when she asked for donations for the Clinton Foundation on Twitter. If you're able to give, I hope you're considering supporting the life-changing work of the Clinton Foundation. The presidential run. U.S. troops not required to get the vaccine booster shot after the intense push to get the military vaccinated. One general gave a one-word speech when he said, "Oops." Biden administration has deleted a post that informed the public that it apprehended a terrorist this month at the U.S.-Mexico border. When asked, the White House responded, "Well, you see, the fact of the matter is when you do things like run the office of the White House, you have to be the president. When you're the president, then you have to run the White House. Then people who pay you want to know how you run your administration. So then you have to hire spokespersons that explain how great you're doing. That should clear things up." CNN is still trying to spin this. A report puts Dr. Fauci's retirement at $350,000 per year, the biggest in U.S. government history. For the second year in a row, Fauci was the most highly compensated federal employee and out-earned the president, 4-star generals, and roughly 4.3 million of his colleagues. When asked, Fauci said, "It's good to be king." Senator Paul's annual government waste report shows the government spent money to see if Japanese pigeons are more sexually driven after consuming cocaine. When asked why, one official said, "Well, Jeffrey Epstein wanted to branch out." So that's all the news that's not fit to print. Please share this with your friends on other social media sites. Click subscribe to get more updates. Thanks for watching.